Good morning. This stream is brought to you by meditation and the Wim Hof breathing method. 10 deep breaths in, 10 deep breaths out in succession. Hold the final exhale out as long as possible. Hold that following inhale as long as possible. And then release it all with a tongue out fire dragon breath. I need it this morning, so good morning. News that Europe will be banning Russian coal. I think this can bode well for oil and natural gas. As we check crude oil futures at 104. Natural gas was approaching $6 yesterday. And is now in the 580s. That is very high. And the S&P future holding above 4,500. NASDAQ future above 1,500. I think if those 4,500 levels and that 1,500 level break on those, it's going to be watch out to the downside. If oil and natural gas keep climbing, we should, when that's happened, we've had successful days for big oil. I hope as big oil has a good day and nobody's expecting moves out of USWS or IMpP. They're just waiting for these, baby. Good morning. All right. Sponsored by 10 deep breaths in and 10 deep breaths out, the Wim Hof breathing method. If you don't do it now, do it later. If you don't listen to this now, listen to it later. Whatever, dude. kind of weird how well you can move your body. Like, that's one thing you never seen any monkeys or animals doing is dancing. Like, it just, so just move your body in a weird way. Stretch a ligament. Do something to stretch. Breathe. Send blood flow to your brain. Tap your face if you need to. Tap a gland. Ooh, feel good. Shake it out if you need to. Thought I had some honey still. Avoid that unofficial sweetener shit. Don't have fucking sugary ass coffee creamer in your shit. Cause no need to make something that I'm addicted to any worse. I used to love that foo creamy shit creamer. Mother Nature's sweetener is honey. So SPY and some of your big tech names aren't doing great pre-market. So that's something to watch. We've got a Bitcoin. And this is a interesting idea. There's a Bitcoin conference starting in Miami, I believe, tomorrow. So with Bitcoin being at 46, will it be a non-event where we see, Bitcoin stay below that 47,000 level, or do we get? Because I've seen it, I've witnessed it. I've been a part of a massive enough group that when smash buys take place at the same time, things can get jumpy quick. Let's see, how many people will be attending this Bitcoin conference? Let's see if Alexa knows. Alexa, how many people will be at the Bitcoin conference in Miami?
Here's something I found on the web. According to millvalley.com, Bitcoin 2021 is set to be the largest event in crypto history, with a crowd of over 50,000 people expected to descend on Miami for the event.
But we're in 2022. 35,000 people expected. So you get enough people to, you get an arena full of people to smash by on their favorite exchange, and it can send some ripples through the networks. So I'm interested. And if you're interested, the Bitcoin, if it was something where you expect Bitcoin to have a nice 3-day run, there are some stocks that directly benefit from Bitcoin's price. and I like to keep a good watch on those. BKKT and Hive are my two favorite. I think Hive is definitely my number one. It's a Bitcoin, Ethereum, and one other coin miner now. They hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet, as do Hut 8 Mining and Bitfarms. We can talk about Mara, but Mara and Riot are the U.S. companies, and they're kind of sketchy to be. They're all a little sketchy to be honest. Mara, they got very few employees. The owner of Mara talking about he wants a buyout, so obviously it's that just signals a red flag to me. Bitfarms and Hut 8 seem to be really well run. As with Hive, I was investing in Hive this summer, and they were having earnings report issues, and I love them just because of the price. I really think if proof of work stays around for Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners will be extremely important to Bitcoin's economy and Bitcoin's framework. So they do great volume every day. They do Hut probably last time I looked at Hut's volume, it does I may have to ultimately end up changing this and we'll see, but interesting volume chart there. I use Webull more from my phone than I do the computer, which is interesting. I'm a day worker, so may have to keep this short here, but in truck sales, and apologies for coming on late. I had a late softball game last night, or excuse me, volleyball game. I wish it was softball. I'm a little better at softball than I am volleyball. I just don't have the experience in volleyball, so I don't know. Team sports like that when you're playing 2 feet away from somebody, I need a lot of experience with, because you have to have a instinct or a way to move in tandem with another person that's has to be built. Has to shuffles like I learned. Just like any sport, you gotta move your feet. But anyways, make sure I'm sitting up tall. What else is going on out there? I don't know. Tesla absolutely killed it yesterday. Tesla, I mean, I just worry about Tesla. The last time I tried to do anything with Tesla, thinking that it was, for sure gonna go to 1500, I got burned. So careful with Tesla. Twitter was going crazy too yesterday. Let's see where our size is at here. Okay, so somebody has split their shares up kind of nicely on both sides, wanting to keep it contained, it looks like. A little less contained for USWS, so again, that's not the most volume we see there, so we'll see. It'll depend on how well or how bad in an instance you could say, because the rising price of oil and natural gas is not a great indicator of the economy. Another reason why I think SPY, big tech, and others that do depend on supply chain won't falter more. The president had a nice speech to talk about increasing truck wages and truck jobs, which I think is good. If people like that, we saw, I think we had a direct movement, the same as Canada. We saw truckers occupying DC. I didn't start that up at all. And so we had the president yesterday speak on the fact that the DMV is issuing twice as many permits and licenses as they were last year, which, I mean, if you guys know, last winter was some of the worst economic times in our history with COVID, so everything that we see right now is still a direct result of that. So but nonetheless, they did issue a lot of CDLs, even though Obama era regulations. And really, so since Obama, we had the increased regulation on time and hours, where it had to be electronically logged. Some companies and trucks will shut off when the hours are hit. So made it difficult for drivers, and a lot of drivers complained, because if they could just stretch things just an hour longer sometimes. And if you've had a 9-hour day, just stretch it one more hour, get home. So, there are some things. Increased tax regulation. Why would a driver, I just think we could reduce property taxes for these guys. We could reduce this highway use tax they pay to travel in New York. And then the increased emissions regulations. So there's three right there. 3 increased regulations in the market. And then what the increased emissions regulations do is just make companies reinvest capital in equipment to keep up with the emission standards. And if you're a driver that's had a truck for a long time, it's not taking away trucks, but it is making companies, through the manufacturers of trucks, having to increase their emission standards. Just have to add more parts, more things to go wrong, and then it gets passed on to the customer. And we're not in a great place to assist with breakdowns right now. A lot of breakdowns on the side, on the road, go sitting. That's why you should lease. Ideal lease. These trucks are a pain in the ass to deal with. So when diesel prices are high like this, those guys that are, from out here in the country, South Carolina, with nice trucks, diesel prices up like this, and rates just so, they'll sit it out. They'll sit it out, and that's just going to increase your shipping costs. It's going to increase. I was a logistics broker once as well, and when drivers start sitting it out, and you got to raise that ticket price up $100 and $200, $300, and then that gets passed on to the customer you're hauling plastic for, or whatever. So transportation cost of shipping and delivery is for sure increased. Constrained as well too. It's just limited by the amount of drivers and trucks that you have. So can't bring more stuff over on the ports if you can't increase the amount of drivers you have to come pick up some containers and bring it off the port. So hope everybody's doing well. If you're watching this, you're more blessed than most. Follow me on Twitter. I believe the yield curve is even further inverted as of this morning. So big time kind of 2-year stagflation, inflation, possible R word. We won't go there. Yep, all the honey was at the bottom of that. That was good though. So, will this Bitcoin conference in Miami? Now, I'm sure a company like BKKT. So, BKKT is a Bitcoin exchange and wallet. I've downloaded their app, and I like to, with some of these fintechs that I like to download their app and make sure that the software and app is legit. Like, nothing worse than a shitty cell phone app. There's nothing worse. It something's clunky, and if it's like viewing a web browser on your phone, it's so BKKT is good. And I would wish SoFi's got a lot tied up in student loans and invested into their banking sector, but I wish they would advertise more their crypto and investing capability, because SoFi's a really good phone app. It's a really clean, easy banking software to use, and is also crypto and stock investable. So you could set up your direct deposit and buy a bunch of Bitcoin every week and not have to take it out of your B of A or Wells Fargo to then exchange for Bitcoin on Coinbase Pro or whatever it is. So The only real headline I've seen this morning is I think EU, I'm sure US is involved in this discussion as well, but EU is meeting to discuss some further sanctions on Russia, and I think we've even seen inkling that this is going to be a ban on coal imports. So again, I just think that is, putting a first step on banning imports and commodities should bode well. Now again, the markets can always stay wrong longer than the investor can stay solvent. And these if everybody's expecting the market to go down or pull back right here, it could very easily do the opposite. But we look for indicators, right? So we look for these indicators that, hey, crude oil is still 103.89, natural gas is 5.90. So Brent crude, which I believe is what Europe defines their crude oil by, is 108.15. So and I believe these are end up being real end of the month oil contract settling prices, and natural gas. So clearly Russia is a major energy producer. Let's ask Alexa a question. Alexa, how much oil does the United States get from Russia per year?
A classic French vinaigrette calls for 3 parts olive oil to 1 part vinegar. Mix the ingredients together in a jar, or use a blender, and season to taste with salt and pepper.
Stop talking about olive oil. So we shall see. No other real news from what I can gather. Let's see if I can find any. Just looking at Unusual Whales posting a bunch of flow updates today, and just average call and put volumes versus what Monday's spent call and put volumes were, and pretty heavy on both sides. Apple and Tesla. So we'll just look at Apple. Apple's average 3-day call volume is 823,000. Average 3-day put volume is 630,000. Monday we saw call volume of 745,000, and Monday for put volume 470,000. So in these can all, come in a variety of different ways. Somebody could be, just bargain searching, looking for maybe call options that have depreciated if Apple was gone up like crazy, so they think it's going to go more and they can, buy, or they're, sometimes put volumes can be bullish puts with, if you buy in the right spot with intent to purchase the in the money shares at the expiration. So we shall see. But either way, a lot of activity there. Kind of, I know that's not terribly too low to their average, but yesterday was pretty slow. Yesterday and really the past couple weeks, volume has been slow, but yesterday in particular, is it a good sign? Is it a sign of, hey, maybe we're overbought and oversold and therefore in this neutral position? Possibly, yeah. We could be at decent evaluations for a lot of these names. Like, SoFi is probably fairly valued at $10. I can tell you why I'm bullish on AMD, and interesting. It was an interesting performer yesterday. It had a major V shape, and this week it also got news that it acquired a software for optimizing performance, and this is the technology, and this is the software that AMD was already trying to facilitate to make performance between their CPUs and GPUs when running together superior. And this technology, I don't want to mess up the name of this technology because I want to give it its due credit. AMD bolsters data center capabilities with 1.9 billion Pensado acquisition. So AMD has been spending some capital. Xilinx was the biggest acquisition in history. Don't hold me to this, but I believe it was maybe this one was for 1.9 billion. I think the Xilinx merger was at least like 15. I could be wrong, but 15 billion maybe? That sounds ridiculous. But it could be. The SPY's kind of looking like it wants to recover here in the pre-market. Anyways, yes, Pensando acquisition. This is only going to help optimize their performance for their cloud server software chips, hardware. Well, now they have both. Bitcoin looks like it wants to hold above 46, so SPY is bouncing back just a little bit, but we saw Bitcoin take a dip, and honestly it was probably needed for it to cool off just a touch. get back to a level where people want to buy it. I think, the more you hang out in this range, the more a 43, 44 print starts to look how a 36 to 38 Bitcoin print looked a couple weeks ago, a month ago. So stay patient. AMD is still in a level I like here, and I would always suggest, before trying to play a trend like oil or catch a big, catch a YOLO play like a USWS or IMpP to run someday. Focus on earning and saving money and investing in good long-term opportunities. So find a company that you think is going to lead its industry for the next 10 years. In my case, it's AMD. I've been studying, been following, been investing in semiconductor chip makers. And so that's just what I like, and I think AMD is set up the best for growth and expansion among the semiconductor chip makers. So that's my investment that I like, but you maybe Airbnb. I think Airbnb could be a big benefactor of summer travel. I think travel names are beat up right now, and SPY's getting a little jump right here. I want to let's just keep a closer look on the SPY, a little 1 minute, just to see if we've got volume coming in on the SPY this early. That's interesting. Big candles there. Those are 1 minutes. We see a couple volume candles there. So maybe we get some action today. The anticipated news of the week for U.S. economies is the release of the Fed minutes tomorrow. And what this will give us is a transcript of the Fed meeting they had in end of February, beginning of March. I can't remember now. End of February, beginning of March, I guess. And the last 3 times these minutes have released, which was November, January, and now it'll release from the February-March meeting here in April. The markets, it's reacted negatively all the previous 2 times it's been released. And so what the minutes is it gives us a recap of the Fed meeting, where Powell was put off by most questions regarding the reduction of the balance sheet. And this is what a lot of investors are going to be looking for is guidance on this, because the Fed has been providing trillions of dollars in liquidity to the markets and to some of the mortgage-backed debt and bond auctions, and so we'll see. I have to probably look a little bit more into what specifically the Fed has been buying the past. Really, the Fed's been in this quantitative easing since '08, since the '08 crash. They've been able to pull it back slightly, only to have to re-engage it again, as we saw during COVID. So did we get news or something? The SPY just looks like it wants to rocket here. Interesting, because chip maker not going up. Apple doesn't look like it's moving. Tesla doesn't look like it's moving. Maybe Apple and Tesla were down further than this, and Apple might even push green pre-market here. There it goes there. Let's see if we got movement in the futures. Interesting. So what we got going on here? What is going on? Futures popping up slightly, but again, natural gas still pushing up. $5.93 for the natural gas price, $104.19 for the crude oil price, $108.40 for Brent crude. Nasdaq 15,138, ES 4,570. So futures not moving. Just could be some, exactly what it is. It's some pre-market buying and selling. And we shall see, because hope you all have a fantastic day out there at your works, lives, whatever your environment is. I hope that the frequency is tuned, aligned, and in good vibes around you. Just tying my shoes, getting ready for today. Enjoy this cup of coffee with myself, I believe. I don't think anybody watches, but if you do, cheers to you. And I've got some charts up here. If anybody's got any suggestions for charts that would like to be viewed, or anything else, I'm I'm a wide open show every morning. We can talk about the college basketball. Um, I couldn't watch the end of the game last night. They need to start those games at 7 o'clock because 9:20 Eastern was just. I mean, I made it through halftime, so I was in the top spot of my tourney brackets and needed. Actually, had picked Duke to win, so it was nice. The one year I had picked Duke to make a run, because I'm usually a Carolina fan and grew up going to Chapel Hill basketball camps, and so if you're from the Carolinas, it's you pretty much grew up having to choose Carolina or Duke. Uh, Best rivalry in college sports, in my opinion. But the one year, and it was out of respect for Coach K, I picked Duke to make the deep finals run over Carolina, which I usually do, and uh, ended up picking Duke to win it. So a couple other people had Kansas to win it, so I ended up getting to cheer for Carolina, which was nice. Because had Carolina won, I would have been the bracket number one. But I believe our buddy Herb won a bracket, and I believe my boy Chatty Daddy, Chad Eberhardt, won another bracket I was in. So shout out Herbert and Chad Eberhardt. Chatty Daddy. Enjoy those winnings, guys. Put them in the stock market. Buy some Bitcoin with them. All right. This coffee's hitting. Everything is chilling. Seems like a beautiful day out there, but I think we're supposed to get some weather this afternoon. We sure are. Beautiful day, 63 and sunny. Gonna get some clouds rolling into a afternoon shower. So finally getting those, the start of that spring afternoon thunderstorm. Hopefully it doesn't bring. So it looks pretty bad going through Atlanta. And then we'll be pushing through my Charlotte, Raleigh folks. And got another storm behind it Wednesday if you're more south. So we'll see. Be aware of that, if you're traveling back home from work. In an area in the southeast that's going to be affected by severe thunderstorms this afternoon, then just make sure you plan appropriately. So we had a little bit of volume on the SPY and Apple. Looks like it's fallen off a little bit. It's a weird looking candle right there. I want to look closer at it. GM and Honda will co-develop affordable EVs targeting the world's most popular vehicle segments. So GM and Honda to co-develop affordable EVs. I mean, they got a bump, but that's a long way in what appears to be a announcement of capital investment into developing affordable EVs with Honda. I don't think that's good news. Either have it or you don't. You either can develop it or you can't. And this doesn't look like GM's anywhere near, or Honda for that matter, anywhere near a electric vehicle. But maybe they are. And maybe it's a vehicle they're going to be rolling out in 2023, but we'll see. So probably some type of GM capital investment into Honda. Maybe Honda has a car or a tech. Maybe they've got a little Camry sedan and a little RAV4 midsize that they're already pretty close to making electric, and GM is saying, okay, we'll put billions of dollars into your company to expand production of these, but you got to involve our name on it. So probably some type of deal like that. GM is reacting off of it, but GM, as a lot of other car manufacturers right now, seem to be topping out. Seem to be hitting a point of reverberation where supply chain issues, demand tapering off due to possible rising interest rates, in just a high inflation environment. Car prices are sky high. There's no deals on cars right now. I love to look for car deals, but there are none to be had right now. I remember when used cars used to sell for less than new iPhones, and now. Okay, new update. EU to ban import from Russia of wood, cement, rubber, chemicals, high-end foodstuff, including caviar and spirits, including vodka, for a total value estimated of 5 billion euros a year. So I guess EU spends 5 billion euros a year on wood, cement, rubber, chemicals, high-end foodstuff, caviar, spirits, vodka every year. So wood, cement, rubber, chemicals, MOS is probably rocketing on that. MOS is fertilizer. So when they say chemicals, that's what I assume there. Okay, this is a good headline. This is a good headline. I'm waiting on USWS to pop, but wood too, so we could wood is WOOD, iShares, timber, West Fraser Timber, WFG, West Fraser Timber. MOS is the one I know. Fertilizer, cement and rubber. I have no clue if there's any tickers for cement and rubber. High-end food stuff. Again, there's the food stuff creeping in. So I don't know what food tickers you guys watch. I've just done the wheat ETF, which is actually up nice pre-market today. Wheat prices are pretty high. I don't know. not a ton of volume on this. I expect as we get more developments on that announcement, that we could see something. But basically, rubber, EU, European Union to ban import from Russia of wood, cement, rubber, chemicals, high-end food like caviar, spirits like vodka, for a estimated 5 billion euros a year. So wood, cement, rubber, chemicals. The chemicals, I believe, should be fertilizers, which I know they're a big exporter of. MOS is really the only fertilizer play that I'm currently watching. MicroStrategy acquired a bunch of Bitcoins. Sometimes Bitcoin's price drops on that news. Let's see. I doubt this weekend, but it's getting a nice little pop on the news, actually. Let's go. Bullish Bitcoin. So MOS or might have to play something else today, USWS. Might have to play something else. Cannot sit here and keep waiting for you to pop. You know pop? Can't keep waiting. Bitcoin getting a nice pop on Sailor tweet. Sailor. Sailor's gonna be the man at the Bitcoin conference, giving these Bitcoiners this nice green candle. And I need to get this out of here so you guys can see that. Candle right there. Boom. Zoom in on that. Nice fat green. 47 and climbing. Damn, it's pushing. Hut 8 up 1%, but just dipped. Hive still there. Let's just see where Bitcoin settles after this move. That's a lot of action. All right, y'all. I gotta go. Peace out. Love.